interception. Incomplete pass at the New York Giants 30.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. And welcome to the Gridiron. I was doing a little search on Pro Football Focus. I want to make a little disclaimer there. And I was just like I was checking out, the different offensive players, where they're ranked, what they're. Instead of just like looking at the Giants, it's like, where do we rank compared to the rest of the league? So on Pro Football Focus, you can like go and get like the offensive grades, for the whole league, and it'll line them all up from the whoever's ranked number one, all the way on down. Now number one, it was Travis Kelce. 93.5. Woo! My God. Man, could you imagine if we had him? Oh, man. But anyway. It wasn't like every offensive player, so I put it in where, it had to be on offense, but also you had to get like so many like receptions, like I made it where like the least amount of receptions, it was like at least 20, because I didn't want, guys in there who just maybe just ran the ball a few times, or maybe caught 3 passes during the year or something. I wanted guys in there that played a decent amount. Maybe they ran the ball, like a Dalvin Cook or something, but they also had to catch some passes too, so I want a nice overall, statistics on each guy, They said, some guys, just run the ball, or, like Elijah Penny's not going to be in here. I want guys that maybe could run, but also caught the ball too. So there was a nice long list, and I was just trying to see where the Giants compared at. And I started scrolling down, I'm scrolling down, I'm like, geez, where the hell's the Giants at? And then finally I got to number 35, and I saw Sterling Shepard. I'm like, okay. And he graded out last year's offensive grade last year was a 79.6. I'm like, hey, that's pretty solid. That's good. Then I'm scrolling down, I'm like, where the frick are the Giant players at? I'm like, holy cow. And finally, I got up to 115, and there was Sterling Shepard. Pick 116, Cameron Brate and Darius Slayton. They're both tied for 116. They both were Cameron Brate from Tampa Bay. They were both at 67.8 was their offensive grade for last year. But from 1 to 115, there was one Giant. I was like, I was just trying to like, obviously that's bad. I'm like, are there any other teams like that? And I got my pad out here, and I wrote down all the teams, and I went to the first guy and checked them off, and putting this guy here and this guy there, and I went from 1 to 115, and the New York Football Giants were the only team that had one guy on the whole list from 1 to 115. I couldn't believe it. Just to go show you how bad the NFC East is, that the NFC East had the least. We had 8 guys out of the top 115. Dallas had 3, Washington had 2, even the Eagles had 2, and the Giants had 1. The AFC South, they had the most. They had 18 guys. So they blew the NFC East out of the water. But I mean, it was just like even the Eagles had 2 guys. I mean, it was like, holy cow. And just to go to show you, the last time we won the Super Bowl, the Giants had 4 of the top 51 players in 2011. We had Ahmad Bradshaw, we had Jake Ballard, tight end, we had Victor Cruz and Hakeem Nicks. 4 out of top 51. The last time we won the Super Bowl. And it just goes to show you, I mean, how bad we were. We have one out of the top 115. And wow. And I know we had some injuries, last year. I mean, obviously Saquon wasn't there, and yes, if Saquon, was healthy, yes, Saquon would have been in the top 115 without a doubt. I understand, but you know what? Guess what? Every team has injuries, and I'm gonna go over my last point before I end this video. I'm gonna go over about something with injuries, okay? But let me just go over right now the teams we picked 11th, okay? So let me go over the 10 teams in front of us, okay? That drafted in front of us. Let me go to show you. Atlanta, they only had 4 wins. So we had 6 wins. Atlanta had 4 wins. They had 3 guys in the top 115. Carolina, they had 5 wins. They had 4 guys in the top 115. The Eagles, they only had 4 wins, but they had 2 guys in the top 115. All right, Detroit had 5 wins. They had 5 guys in the top 115. Then we go to Houston. They only had 4 wins, but they had 5 guys in the top 115. Then you had Jacksonville had 1 win. They had 4 guys in the top 115 with 1 win. The Jets, they only had 2 wins, but they had 3 guys in the top 115. Cincinnati only had 4 wins, and they only had 2 guys, but they still had more, what we had. I mean, the quarterback got hurt, but they had 2 guys in the top 115. We had 1. Then you had Denver. Denver had 5 wins. They had 3 guys in the top 115. And then you had the Cowboys. Cowboys had 6 wins, same amount as us, but they had 3 guys in the top 115. Some of it, I mean, it's injuries, some of it's coaching, some of it's this, some of it's that. But let me go back to Jacksonville. Gardner Minshew, right? He was drafted the same year Daniel Jones was. Okay, he was drafted in the 6th round. Daniel Jones was pick 6. Gardner Minshew didn't help him win. Obviously, didn't help him win any games. Like they only won 1 game. But still, they had 4 guys in the top 115 as far as offensive grades. The Jets, as dysfunctional as their coaching staff was, and they only had 2 wins, they still somehow managed to get 3 guys in the top 115 on Pro Football Focus with the offensive grade. For Pro Football Focus. Then you got guys like, with Deshaun Watson from Houston. Now, they only had 4 wins, but they had 5 guys. Now, sometimes, it's, this isn't Daniel Jones. Or at least it isn't him yet, anyway. Now, whether it's going to happen or not, who knows. But, Deshaun Watson can, raise everybody. He can make everybody better. He can distribute the ball. He's a phenomenal quarterback. Like Patrick Mahomes. Certain guys just raise everybody, and I'm not seeing it from Daniel Jones, at least not yet. The first year he had, he had that nice game-winning drive against Tampa Bay. He beat, Washington in overtime. Caden Smith caught the touchdown pass in overtime, so he had a couple nice games in his first year. I'm not seeing it. It's like he put the team on his back and guys were scoring a touchdown. I'm not seeing that. There's certain quarterbacks that can do that. They can raise everybody. That would be like a Deshaun Watson. I'm not seeing it from Daniel Jones. Now, the last point I want to make is that, just to go to show you, injuries are one thing, quarterback play is another, maybe having, great players or not or whatever, but let's just go to show you San Francisco last year. I mean, they came in and they spanked us really good. Well, they had 6 wins. They had the same amount of wins as what we did, okay? They had 5 guys. 5. They had 6 wins. They had 5 guys in the top 115. And Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. He only played 6 games last year. So basically, the last 10 games, they were playing with second and third string quarterbacks. C.J. Beathard and Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins played most of the time, but C.J. Beathard got in there. And Jimmy Garoppolo, he played 6 games. But 10 out of the 16 games, San Francisco 49ers had second and third string quarterbacks, and somehow they managed to have 5 guys. And Pro Football Focus had a top 115. Their offensive grade was in the top 115. They had 5 guys. Coaching. Who's calling the plays? Who's designing the plays and all that? So all I gotta say is, if, with all the firepower we added this year, we got Saquon coming back. I'll tell you what, boy, if we don't improve immensely, a lot of heads gonna roll. Jason Garrett gonna be gone. Daniel Jones, Dave Gettleman, I don't know, but I'll tell you what, boy, it's not so much always about adding firepower. Sometimes it's coaching. Sometimes it's the quarterback. Sometimes it's injuries. Sometimes it's the firepower. But boy, I tell you, the Giants have no excuse this year. If they don't get immensely better on offense, it's going to be a long, long off season for quite a few guys. Well, as always, people, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo!